How are you guys all doing? My name is Matthew Crassel, and I want to welcome you all to Cooking with Matty K. And I'm here today to show you how to cook the best pork ribs low and slow in the oven. So we're just in the prepping part now, and it's very easy to prep pork ribs. All you really need is a roasting pan, which I have here, and my racks of ribs. I just took them out of the freezer this morning if you want to come up and take a close-up. So that's the pork ribs. They're uncooked, of course. So I'm going to show you how I prep them, and it's very easy to do it. First of all, with my pan spray, I'm going to spray it on here so the ribs don't stick when they're fully cooked. Otherwise, if I don't use Pam, basically what's going to happen is it's going to be hard for me to take it off the pan. It's going to stick on top of the pan, and it's going to be hard to clean off later. So here I go. Now I don't want to use too much because if you remember on my other one video I did about cooking breaded chicken, where if you use too much Pam, since there's canola oil in this, it could cause a fire if you put too much. So you don't want that to happen. Okay, so now we're ready to put the ribs in the roasting pan. You put them face up. That. Actually, let's face down first. My bad. I know there's tons of different methods of cooking ribs, and this is the best way. Now, the spices I use to season the the ribs, is I use this spice called the keg steak spice. It seems to be a steak spice, but it's also really good to put it on rib meat as well. And I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit on, not too much, because this has a lot of salt in it. And if you put too much in, it's going to be very salty. And we don't want to dry your throats. And then the second one I use is a custom spice that my dad made called dry rub. It has paprika and
kind of looks like cinnamon from my point of view.
Yeah, it actually does almost look like cinnamon, but it's not what that is. Sprinkle that. This one you could put more of, because it definitely adds a lot of flavor to the ribs. And you can just spread them around. For this, I'm probably going to tap it to take a cut. There we go. This is what I want.
Tap that ass.
Nice try. just my boyfriend in the background. Yeah, there you go. And then the same thing with the second one. Trust me, you're gonna love these ribs. If you love the ribs juicy, this is the way you want to do this.
It smells good.
Yeah, I know, right? Wait till it's cooking. It's going to smell really good. Okay, so we're going to flip these over. The nice thing about these ribs is they're actually Canadian ribs. Most of the pork ribs I get are actually from Chile, but this is actually from Canada, and I just got this just in the last week. So same thing one more time on the other side. Start with the heaviest spice, which is this steak spice. Dry rub. And just spray it all around. That way you can get it on everywhere of the meat. There we go. So yeah, there's a lot of ways you can custom your spices like dry rub. This has, pretty sure it's paprika, garlic powder, onion powder. I think that's all there really is in this. And the keg spice you can get at your local Costco store, because I know Costco sells these, and I think it's the only business that sells them in grocery stores. But I think the keg actual restaurants may sell this, but I haven't been to the keg in a long time, so I don't know.
Costco's gonna put Walmart out of business.
Well, you never know. Okay, so now that we got it prepped, We can put it in the oven, and you need to preheat your oven to only 300 degrees Fahrenheit because we want to cook it low and slow. So that means low temperature and slow time. So that means we're going to be having this in the oven for about 2 to 2.5 hours. And when you're putting them in the oven, put the lid on it. And we're ready to put this in the oven. Like that. And just check the time, and it's literally 4:35. So about another 2 hours or so later, I'll come back and take a look at it. And then we're going to get to the broiling part, which I will tell you about in about 2 hours. Okay, so it's been just over 2 hours. So I'm going to go take a look at this. Man, it's been smelling good. You ready?
Yep.
Yeah.
Looks good.
So now we gotta get ready to broil them. So I'm gonna turn my oven to broil mode. Okay, and if some people would put sauce on this, but I always do it plain, so I don't have to do anything else. But if you ever put sauce on it, this would be the time to do it. And if you were gonna put sauce on it, I would use a big knife and cut them in half on both racks to split them up evenly, and just put whatever you want with sauce on. And if you want some plain, you can just split them up. But we're just going to leave it like this, and we're going to go put this back in the oven on broil. And what we're going to do is leave it in broil for that same side for 5 minutes. And then in another 5 minutes, we'll take it out of the oven and then flip them and broil them one more time for another few minutes. And then that's basically how you cook pork ribs. So check back in 5 minutes. Okay, so we just broiled the one side. Now all we gotta do is use these special tongs. Flip it over. Like that. Easiest way is to go from the center here. It's a little more awkward because I didn't cut them in half. Just like that. Then once again, we just put it back in the oven for an extra couple minutes on broil to broil that end. And that's basically how we do it. And just wait a few minutes, and you're going to be ready to taste some juicy ribs that pretty sure they're going to fall off the bone by the time you pick them up. And and apparently with my boyfriend, he really thinks I'm pretty much like Gordon Ramsay, but the kinder way. Is that right? Is that what you say?
Yeah, that's what I said. Like, you don't have a thick ass accent, you don't yell at me, although I'm sure the temptation's probably been there. We'll see. But no. Yeah.
Yeah, so the easiest, the way you would tell whenever the oven is, when the ribs are good, is when you see lots of those little bubbles on them. It definitely means it's broiling. You don't want to broil it for too long, otherwise you could burn it. So when I kneel down and take a look, it's good to have the oven light turned on during this process. Probably another minute. So we don't, and you may see some thing that almost smells like smoke, but don't worry about that. That's okay. There's not going to be a fire unless if you keep it on for too long, then you're going to cause a fire. So that's why you need to be careful when you're broiling anything in the oven, is not to broil it for food in there for a very long time, because that's why there's burners overhead in the oven, because that's only used for broiling. It's not used for baking, because baking is on the bottom burner rack. Okay, I'm going to turn this off now. Alright, ready? Grand finale. That is it. Well, babe, you ready to eat?
I am.
Alright, well, thank you for watching, and we're going to enjoy some tasty ribs, and have yourself a wonderful day.